The two white friends get let in, no problem at all, no hassle. But of course, it's the black law student who gets turned away because he doesn't have a membership. Hey, what's going on, folks? Welcome to another episode of Just My Opinion with Ryan. And as you can see, I just felt like getting in the Happy Holidays Christmas mood, so I got the sweater on. Nevertheless, simply going to talk about, I guess, like an overview of Welcome to Chippendales, starring Kamal Nanjiani, who plays Steve Banerjee. I don't believe in saying spoiler alert in this case. This is actually a reenactment of an actual true crime story that happened. Maybe some things in here was kind of, Hollywoodized or sensationalized or whatever, but it's a biopic, a reenactment about a crime that really happened. So this is based on a true story. You can literally Google Steve Banerjee and see how wild shit gets. So, but what I want to focus on really is one thing that I wasn't aware of, because I really don't recall any of like the true crime docs necessarily focusing on it. But I want to focus on how I think Hulu is really doing a great job on, at least with this show, is doing a great job of covering like racism that was going on, at Chippendales, or just in general. Just the show covering racism in general is just dope, and eye-opening. And to some degree, it's wild that racism goes on even in, the sex industry. I remember watching, this is years ago, I remember watching like DJ Vlad and I think Naomi Banks and a few other porn stars would speak on their experience with racism. Now granted, porn and stripping, or although in the sex industry are two different things, but it's still crazy to me that racism can exist in such an industry where everyone is just trying to have a good time. There's other examples of Banerjee experiencing racism himself, so you think he would kind of relate from that aspect. We see him and his wife try to get into like this, fancy high class restaurant, and clearly it didn't matter how well dressed Banerjee was. He had like the flyest 3-piece suit, had his Rolex showing, whatever. Like you could clearly see that he has money. He can afford to eat at this high class restaurant. He's turned away, and he's given a lame excuse that he needs to be a member. And despite seeing vacant seats, they just still didn't let him see. Just didn't take them as patrons. So they end up letting men be, start attending the club as well, mainly to hit on the female guests and to see what was good, which I think was also yet again another brilliant idea. But of course, what does Banerjee do? Because of his experience at the VIP restaurant, he puts that same VIP lame excuse when it comes to black people trying to enter the club. He lets them know, hey, you need a membership to even get in. But yet it was clearly evident that the white people, they got let in at no problem. And, so just to make sure, just to see if that part was really an issue or was this just, sensationalized, I did do research and I did find a few articles that actually show how true it is. There's one story about how a black law student actually led the lawsuit against Chippendales. And this law student actually goes into detail about how he got turned. This, once again, lawsuit. It's not like this is, this guy is in practice to be a lawyer. So who knows how much, he's possibly successes in this guy's future. But anyway, he does this thing. He actually gets turned away when he tries to go into the Chippendales by himself. So he gets together with two of his white friends, and the white friends, they all separate. They all go in separate places of this line. The two white friends get let in, no problem at all, no hassle. But of course, it's the black law student who gets turned away because he doesn't have a membership. So that's when he decides to lead the lawsuit. And there's actually even another story. And once again, that case took place in 1982. And then there was another incident in not incident, but I guess development going on in 1985 where it says Chippendales agrees to policy on hiring and admitting black people. Because again, that's one thing that was evident in this season so far. Otis was literally the token black guy, and not only that, he kind of was playing towards a stereotype at some point. Like at one point, Otis is like dancing as a pimp, but that's another story. So anyway, so in 1985, there's an article that came out about Chippendales agreeing to hiring more black dancers and to admitting black people in the club. I'll put articles and descriptions below so you can see that. But that was definitely like a real thing, which to my surprise. And once again, I don't believe in saying spoiler alert, but if you've been following the season so far, and maybe you're not familiar with the real case, Steve Banerjee became jealous of Nick DeNoya's success with the New York version of Chippendales. And also, he rightfully he definitely had the right to be upset at Nick DeNoya trying to take credit. At one point, Nick DeNoya tried to take credit as if he was responsible for creating Chippendales. So that part I understand. But long story short, he gets jealous of how much more success the New York Chippendales is, and he actually puts a hit out on Nick DeNoya. And he did, put a hit out on several of the dancers as well. Also had a vendetta against other establishments trying to copy the male strip club idea, and would have those clubs burned down, which you see in the most recent episode. So although this is a true crime type of event, I'm still loving the acting. I'm still loving Kamal Nanjiani. Everyone is doing a great job. There's so many other people in here who are really bodying that role. And that's the thing. I just didn't know how wild the Chippendale stories were. At one point, they definitely showed how things really went down in the after parties, and I'll leave it at that. It's wild. But hey, man, love it or hate it, these are just my opinions. Peace.